Charlie reminded me about 10 times. We are accepting free trials to the Steam Room. Okay, we open it up periodically to try to weed out the riffraff. So anybody who may be interested, again, free trial, no obligation, nothing like that. You'll get more information at wallstreetjesus.com. You can get the link on my Twitter page, or it's actually easy to remember. Street ST, not the word. wallstreetjesus.com. All right. And they pick a certain amount of people for a free trial. You get to see what we do on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, no obligation. If you like what you see, you give it a shot. If you don't, no harm done. All right. So go to the site, wallstreetjesus.com. You get some more information on there. Okay. Now that I got that done, because I was definitely going to forget that. All right. Let's talk. Here's where I want to start. Right. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. All right. And unfortunately, I didn't get to talk to all of you at the end of last week. But I'll be the first to admit it. And members on here who were on that Sunday webinar could definitely vouch for me. I was extremely concerned. Okay. Extremely concerned, to say the least, with what was going on amongst retail players out there. Okay. And when I say concerned, I wasn't concerned necessarily about their fate, but I was concerned that if there was anything right now to deter this bull market, okay, again, I'm not just even talking pullbacks and corrections or anything to that effect, but I'm just talking about something out there, kind of like a black swan that's nobody expected, that can spread and everybody downplays the consequences to. Okay, kind of, if you remember, those of you who are members, on Sunday, we talked about kind of like 2007 into 2008 with the subprime crisis. Started off with subprime mortgages. Everybody was downplaying the issue. Think, it's just subprime. It's a small piece of the pie, no big deal. But it had tentacles and spread into many different things. Okay. And that was my fear from off of this Reddit riffraff rebellion trade. Okay. We were starting to see what kind of effect it could have on the overall market, just off the quote unquote degrossing out there, right? The stuff that hedge funds and players who were positioned, the effects it had on them. Okay. Names that had nothing to do with the names in play had to be sold because of the problems and issues that were generated off the squeeze. Okay. But one thing I made sure to mention, and I kept reminding myself, okay, as much as I am concerned, the odds and the probability that the market gods, the Fed would allow something like this to have a major impact on the market, right? Allow retail to quote unquote win against Wall Street was minimal. Okay. Again, we don't have crystal balls, right? We can't predict the future, but the likelihood of the whole entire retail crowd cracking bottles of champagne, slapping five at the end of this story and putting Wall Street out of commission, the probability of that is pretty slim, right? And it was something that I needed to continuously remind myself and made sure I mentioned over and over during the Sunday webinar, okay? So we had to see one thing, right? Sooner than later, for me, my preference would have been immediately. We had to see a dagger in that retail confidence trade. They had to learn a lesson, right? It couldn't go on much longer because it would snowball, be something bigger, and then become a serious problem. They had to lose. They had to be put back in their place and understand, listen, tough guy. The game is rigged. When you come to that understanding, you'll start to maybe make some money in this game. But until you realize the game is rigged against you, rather than trying to beat the game at the game, you're going to lose money. And that's where you need to learn your lesson in life. Okay. We needed to see that. Right. And we did. Okay. The chatter out there. And guys, so it's not about losing money. Even if you lost money and got wrapped up into this GameStop or any of this other crap out there. Okay. It's the lesson in it. Okay. Again, you got to look at the scenario, the situation logically sometimes. There were literally people on Reddit and Twitter and social media, on the internet in general, almost threatening people not to sell their stock. You had billionaires who wanted to be in, right, to look cool to the riffraff, that they were preaching to hold the line, as they say. Meanwhile, as they had no skin in the game, one of them doubled his money in options, sold 2 days later, but he's telling the riffraff in the retail to hold the line. Think about that for a second. Okay? Think about that. Peanut trade, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. Peanut trade, an option trade he put on just to be part of the whole circus. And he couldn't even hold that. He had to flip it 2 days later for a profit because he knew the likelihood of where that GameStop was going. But he continued to tell and gas up the public to hold the line as they got devoured. All right. And so to make a long story and get to the final thing here. We needed to see this. We saw it. And this is why the market did what it did today. Simple. No other reason, guys. Okay. What happened was because of this GameStop squeeze, okay, other hedge funds out there were concerned that their short book, whatever they were short, might be next. Okay. So the same concern that some of us had on that Sunday webinar, whether the probability was high or not, they had that same concern, but they had a lot at stake, right? So what they needed to do is not only cover short positions and de-risk, okay, but they needed to take off additional risk on their long exposure, which they didn't have much to begin with, net, and sell long positions in Apple, in tech, whatever it may be. Okay, and we started to see that correlation in the market, right? We spoke about that on Sunday as well. Okay, the key thing to keep an eye on going into the week, if GameStop continued to squeeze, we likely see the market continue to sell. If GameStop rolled over, you likely see the market firm up and strengthen, right? Remember we spoke about that? Okay, and that's exactly the correlation we saw throughout the whole week. As GameStop continued to fall, the market continued to rip. Why? Because all that degrossing, all that de-risking that took place, as it became more evident that the riffraff was going to get the short end of the stick here again, they had to put back that exposure they took off. Right? So think about that. They're chasing into strength and having to put on what they just sold and unwound. And that's exactly what we saw throughout the whole week. Okay. Is it done? More than likely it's done. We saw that part of the squeeze. That was that vicious snapback, and you could see them just throwing money at things they had to come out of, right? So forced selling, forced buying. All right. But there's no other way to look at what took place over the past 2 weeks. That's exactly that. Okay. My gut, honestly, I think it was a glimpse of what may take down this market in the future. And what I mean by that, it doesn't have to be GameStop. I mean, my personal opinion may be in the SPAC arena, but when you start to see retail in a frenzy, okay, and crowding in certain areas, and it gets too easy, right? It looks too easy, right? They're making money. It can't go on. That's probably the sign that we need to be careful and look for the same playbook. Look for the same things we looked for this week. Okay. And I don't know where it's going to show up. Okay. And history has a tendency of repeating itself in different things. In 2007, 2008, what happened was you had Bear Stearns. That was the first shot. Okay. And then the market quickly recovered when players realized, all right, Bear Stearns, that seemed like a debacle, but it didn't really have it wasn't any contagion, it didn't spread anywhere. So the market rallied back to new highs. And then what happened? You guys know the rest of the story, right? Then it started to spread eventually to other banks. And then that was the big boom. So it wasn't Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns was the warning shot. Okay. So again, I hate comparing cycles because we don't know when, right, the music is going to stop here. But throughout the course of my career, it's always been when retail gets into that frenzy, right? And it seems like easy money. You could feel it. You want to own it just to be a part of it because everybody is all joyous and feels like they're getting rich all together. That's usually a sign the end is near, okay? Especially, obviously, if it continues for any longer than you realize at that period. All right. If you remember, we compared it to Bitcoin. Okay. Bitcoin, not this go around, Bitcoin the first go around. Right. And like I told you guys, you guys know me with tech. I'm lucky I could get my computer turned on. I don't know anything about blockchain and Bitcoin to knock it. Right. But what I knew was, my uncle, my friends who can't get off the couch, the guy who pumps my gas, the guy at 7-Eleven, they're not all going to strike it rich in Bitcoin and Nipple. It wasn't going to happen, right? They're not all going to be slapping fives, celebrating, becoming wealthy off all that stuff. That's the feeling I had back then. You know, everybody piling in, everybody long, and then boom, right? Rolls over and dies. So those are the things to look for. They're hard to gauge, right? Sometimes you think you see it, you think you feel it, but you really know. Like this go around, you knew, right? This whole GameStop scenario started to go into other names. Basically, if it didn't end this past week, right? Think about what would have happened. You would have had this whole rebellion mob, who they were calling the biggest hedge fund on Wall Street, right? They were comparing them to the Hunt brothers, Corner and Silver. You heard things that you would never imagine. Okay? They can move markets. They can do whatever they want. They're magicians, the all-powerful. Okay, think about that, the threat to the market that would have been if that was true and it continued. You could have this crowd, this mob, just run anything they want, manipulate anything they want, and print money. Right? So that was the threat. That was the threat. So anyway, that's where we are now. Okay. So basically, the threat of it being some sort of systematic risk spreading out to other things outside of just names, that subsided. Players had to put risk back on that they took off. And that's basically where we are now, right? Heading into a new week. Okay. And if you want, here I threw some charts. This tells the whole story. Okay. Can you guys see that? Let me see if I can blow this up. Why is it so small? All right. So the orange line is just basically sentiment amongst those players on Reddit. All right. And you could see what they did to them here. Kaput. Okay. Cleared them out. And oh, let me make this smaller now. This also tells a story, a great story here. Okay. And this has been one of, the last things. Sentiment is really a tough thing when it comes to tops. It's really difficult. You're not going to have one indicator. Very rarely you're going to have one indicator that nails a top. Sometimes it can lead to a little consolidation, but only for a couple of days. Tops are a whole different can of worms, right? They're nothing like bottoms. But this hedge fund exposure, okay, because this is net exposure, overall exposure into equities amongst hedge funds, has been one of the few things left that, on a sentiment basis, paints a really bullish picture, okay, positioning wise. All right, because what does it tell us? It tells us that as bullish as we may feel, or as bullish as it may appear to be out there, sentiment wise, everybody's not all in as far as positioning is concerned. Okay, as a matter of fact, it's not even close if you take everything on a positioning basis. Okay, doesn't mean the market can't top and go into a correction, right? A correction if everybody's not all in? Of course not. There have been market corrections without hedge funds all in. Okay, but usually the music doesn't stop. A major top usually comes when everybody is all in. That's usually the case if you look back through history, right? We spoke about this plenty of times. So this chart tells a great story here of what happened throughout the GameStop process, right? You see this? That wasn't hedge funds buying, getting long names. Hedge funds were short, and because of the squeeze, right, orchestrated by Wall Street Bets, Reddit Retail, they had to cover. So they were net short in a big way, and they had to cover their shorts off the fear of getting squeezed. Okay, and then you can see once they did some covering, right? Here's neutral. Once they do some covering, what do? They still want no piece of the long side of this market. All right, it's not like they covered and just flipped long, which we've seen them do in the past, and get aggressive on the long side. All right, so what this means, net, right, big picture wise, is that if this market continues to do what it's been doing, okay, and I got another chart I'll show you guys. You saw me posted on private Twitter and my regular Twitter of the hedge fund outperformance already at the start of this year. The worst start for hedge funds since 2008 or 2009, whatever it was. Okay. If this market continues to grind higher, the likelihood is they're going to need to get in. Okay. And if they don't decide to chase, what they're going to need is to buy on every little dip. And that's where you see every little pullback find buyers out of nowhere because they need to put money to work. All right. So it doesn't necessarily have to translate into a melt up. And depending on your definition of a melt up could mean anything. Okay. It could if they're forced to chase higher prices. But the main takeaway is that any pullback, the likelihood is it will be shallow because they are going to utilize those pullbacks as an entry. Make sense? All right. So that's the main takeaway from this. And that's why, any shallow pullback has been a superior entry throughout this rally. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how these things play out going forward. But that's if you want a synopsis, all kidding aside, of what took place over the last 2 weeks, that's all you had to look at, right? You look at the Reddit crowd and the whole retail mob scene, what they did and how that ended up blowing up, right? And then big money coming in and having to put all that risk back on. That's basically a nutshell what went on over the past 2 weeks. Let me see. A couple other things I want to talk about sentiment-wise, because I'd like to talk about sweeper activity, names. We got another week of earnings, and then really earnings season clears up for us flow-wise. So we really start to see some real action come in. But let's look at a couple of things that I found interesting. Here we go. Let's start this. So this is sector sentiment. Okay. And interestingly enough, the market had a pretty vicious snapback rally, okay, over the course of a week. This, as far as this sentiment, sector sentiment here, this particular one lags a bit to the actual price action, okay? But in reality, if you look, nothing's overheated here per se. Everything cooled off nicely off that shallow pullback we had. All right. And breadth hasn't really been too healthy on this snapback rally. Not like we were seeing anyway. There's definitely some laggards out there, right? Could be earnings season, could be several different reasons why. Okay. Again, once we get through the chunk of earnings season, we'll see things a little bit clearer. But looking at this, okay, there's still decent opportunity out there. Okay. Even if there's a little bit of a breather as far as the indices are concerned, okay, there's just still be some decent opportunity in individual names, individual sectors, subsectors, that sort of thing. All right. Again, I hate to repeat myself, but it's important. Earnings is a wild card. Okay. If you're buying, my point being, if you're buying a tech name, right, just because tech sentiment's okay, if they report and they report a shitty number, the stock's going down. It's got nothing to do with this. Right? Obviously. So earnings is a whole thing on its own. That's why, we can't stand earnings season because it could get annoying. All right. But you have several things here. Basic materials, really nice pullback, right? Biotech was hot, back to neutral. Energy was scorched. That had a nice pull, nice little cleansing there. Financials. All right. We spent some time talking about the financials. We're not big fans of financials, but they, as far as dips being bought, we're going to continue to see that there. There's a demand to own financials, especially if rates continue higher as we've been seeing. So there you go. You had a nice dip in financials that bounced a little bit. Healthcare, housing, industrials has lagged significantly. Okay, and this is really interesting, especially with the reopening theme out there. Once people get vaccinated and come out of their house, right? That's why this market has been so strong. You have liquidity, a huge influx of liquidity out there, and players overlooking any short-term negatives and looking big picture-wise that once people are vaccinated, they're going to come out of their house and go bananas, right? Like caged animals. So that whole reopening trade, there's really nothing that's thrown that off course. And industrials could be really interesting. The epicenter stocks, they've been lagging. A couple of them are fundamentally awful. But travel names, you got some decent names in there. Like that Booking never catches flow anymore, but that's a hot name. If you like that name on dips, that's the reopening play in a nutshell. BKNG, Expedia, those type of things, Trip, which they tattooed back in the day. But you get the point. Another interesting thing here, look, again, remember how hot they were? It felt like they were never coming down again. It feels like that every time. But look at this. Cooled off nicely. Oh, I got your attention, Booking. Tim is diehard Booking. But across the board, you got some stuff like REITs that they rotated into. That's hot now and stuff like that. All right. So again, main takeaway. Not only do I like to look at sectors individually, I like to look at them as a whole to get a measure of positioning and sentiment. And even though, again, SPY could, run into a little congestion, right? And the small caps continue to move. We should see that rotation theme that we've been seeing. Money always finding a home. In other words, that playbook back on course again. Let me clear this out. All right, and there's a lot of things with room. Here are world markets. Same thing. I'm not playing, very rarely play any individual Italy, Brazil, stuff like that, but a nice cleansing. Okay, same thing here. A lot of them hot, 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 and have all washed to neutral at the least. Where's Japan? Look at Japan, and Japan's been hotter than a pistol. Russia, Putin, cooled off. Mexico, the UK. Okay, again, even if you're not playing these ETFs or playing in these indices, it's an interesting take on overall sentiment, global sentiment. What else? What else did I want to hit on? This is from S3. There's been some shorting in SPY, which I found interesting, right? This is basically into the virus back in February, March. Huge short position put on in SPY. And you can see ever since, right, in the downtrend. And, it had a little shorting here recently. So it got bears or bulls, hedge, or whatever it did. It got people a little riled up, this whole thing, like myself. Okay, so I found that interesting. And that's it. This is future sentiment. ES up there, but no sell signal yet. NASDAQ. Gold, right? We've been paying attention to gold for entries. You had borderline buy signal there, bounced. That's gold. This is all on private Twitter and in market updates in the room if you guys want to take a look. Crude, little elevated. Wait. There's one more thing I wanted to, hold on, let me remember. And then we'll talk about names, I promise. Oh, this I found interesting. Small caps, right? We've been talking about this change, right? Small caps getting life, seeing real buying, really crazy action flow-wise. So this is from Paulson, Jim Paulson, talking about this is likely a kickoff and not a blow-off in small caps. All right, and you look, started off some really nice rallies. The next chart that he put out there was really interesting too. Let me show you. How do I erase this? Hold on a second. Oh, there we go. It's a little blurry, but if you could see small caps when they get started here, when being out of favor for a while, they lead to pretty large extensions. All right, so you could take a peek. Okay, a lot of us like that. Some of you don't. If you like playing the FANG and the big names, but I like small caps. This past week I've been playing, and I think that's the beauty, not to tout our own product, but that's the beauty of what we do in the Steam room and on private Twitter. We have, no matter what you play, right? You could be playing small cap equities. You can be playing, just a handful of large liquid names, options, equities, whatever it may be. What we're looking at on a day-to-day basis can apply to you. There's an edge in the information for you. Okay, no matter what you play, you just got to know what to look for and be patient enough and disciplined and allow these actionable signals to come to you. Okay, but this week was a good example of everything participating in a sense, right? I primarily played equities, small caps, right? Really cheap names. That's where I did well this week. But I know, a lot of you have been playing those hot tech names and killing it at the same time. So that's where you shouldn't have, especially anybody who's new out there, you shouldn't have anybody force you or force upon you a certain style of playing this game. You have to find something you're comfortable with, something that you can build confidence on, and just learn how to master that. All right, master the discipline of that. But there's no one way to skin a cat in this game. People make money. It's just sticking to a plan. Let's look at some of the Friday action. Zoom. I was out Friday morning, as a lot of you know. Coincidentally, the alerts had a little hiccup too Friday morning. So I missed a little bit of the action, but I made sure you guys caught the bulk of it. In other words, reposted stuff. Zoom got tattooed in the morning. Zoom got annihilated in the morning. I saw it had a ton of momentum too early on. Let's look at this. You guys had to chase green there, but some of you don't mind, I guess, in this stock. Did anybody play Zoom? Anybody get their hands on Zoom? Yeah? Yeah, this thing really got lit up. And you look at this in the morning. Wow. This is a 1 minute, just to give you guys an idea. This thing just flew out of the box. Flew. And this is the action that came in. Feb 460s, 600 grand sweep. Here's Feb 460s again. Feb 12, next week 430s. These are just some of the sweeps. It got hit multiple times throughout the day. But you can see big time action. Big time action. This is a name, caught a real nice sweep. It has earnings, and this thing was up huge. SGEN. A lot of you know this name. And it's an interesting spot too. At the start of this. Here's earnings. That's the problem. February 11th. But for a day trade, this thing was a killer. And there too, I think you had to chase green. Look where they hit. The stock was at 172.31. So $172 when the sweep came in. It went to a high of 200. I mean, that's nuts. Was there news on this thing? Seattle Genetics, yeah. Was there news? I mean, weird too, right before earnings. Oh, added to the S&P 500? Sava, that caught action to that, Sava. That's been a machine. So yeah, crazy. This thing, I know moves. I don't remember seeing a move like that in this thing. But really nice sweep for this name. Like this 142 grand clean as a whistle. The only thing is earnings, right? This was a nice ice sweep. This is post earnings. Okay. Again, we're going to start to see more post earnings action. ADS, Alliance Data Systems. Okay, I'm not too crazy about the spot. I would have loved it right here off a niner. That would have been ideal. But you scroll back a little bit, and this is what I did. There's a lot of real estate up there. Okay, so maybe if you want to wait on a breather here, if you are interested, you might get a little digestion. But bigger picture wise, there's a lot of real estate. ADS. As far as the bet is concerned, nice sweep. June 110s. 240 grand opening order. Nice sweep. Starbucks, we spoke about on Thursday. It was hedge fund buying, right? That's the type of sweeper activity we saw. There were bullets, size accumulation in Starbucks. And then there was some more buying Friday. So back-to-back days of big boy positioning in Starbucks. Okay. Again, just my opinion, a guess. People, hedge funds or whatever, who may have been long Starbucks and got out because of the whole retail debacle that happened the week prior, had to get back in and put back exposure. The quickest way to do that, sweep off his call side in the market, options, right? That's what it looked like today. It looked like, fun buying, putting exposure back on off a dip. All right. But good looking name, obviously Starbucks, healthy name. And again, reopening theme to it, right? Reopening theme as well. This was a nice dip. Let's see what else we got. I left names out on here, because like I've been telling you guys, well, those of you members, I've been trying to put more names on the top bet list because it's earnings season, right? Everybody had earnings a week ago. So I just want names to even watch off of earnings. So I've been putting a lot more names than I usually would on the top bet list. Here is 6, another reopening play. June 55s. We've been seeing action in this 6 flags. Healthy look. Healthy look. All right. Again, here, like most, had a nice rally this week. So you may want to wait on a breather. This was a nice breather last week. But you scroll back, there's a lot of real estate to the upside there. A lot of real estate. Looks good. All right, so that's 6. What they hit on Friday, they hit June 55s. That's way out of the money. Oh, earnings. That's why. So that looks like an earnings bet to me. Yeah, that's a bit out of the money. Bank of America, the banks, guys, the banks in general. I hate trying to forecast long-term shit, right? Because I'm so against that. Like, how can anybody see a year out, right? It's a lot of luck that comes into that. But, we've been talking about, like, we like to fool around those leveraged ETFs, right? We talk about TQQQ or TNA when Russell started to heat up. This fast could be the 2021 play. Could be the 2021 play. You had a nice dip recently here, a 9er, like a lot of other stuff in the market, and snapback rally off it. And the reason I'm talking FAS is because the banks usually move together, right? Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan are probably upper echelon. Then you got the Citigroup, Bank of America, right, on mid-tier. And then you got Wells Fargo holding the rear, right? So, usually that's how you weigh it. Flow really is not going to determine too much. Oh, Goldman is up there, back in the upper shelf stuff. So there's a lot of luck involved, right? So, but Bank of America has been seeing nice action, right? Has been seeing nice action. If I was to rank them, and flow being a big part of that ranking, I would put Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Goldman maybe right underneath that. And then you got, Wells Fargo, Citi, Bank of America. Morgan is a stud. Morgan's the stud. It doesn't catch the same amount of action as a Bank of America. It just doesn't catch as much, but it has seen some decent action. MS. And look at the chart, right? Just look at the price action in it. Healthy. Good looking. What's Goldman? I haven't seen Goldman. Goldman looks really same exact thing, right? Say Citigroup lagging a bit. Wells Fargo lagging a bit more. So you can play the catch up if that's what you want. You can play the catch up trade. You go to Wells Fargo, Citi, right? You want to go in between that, you go Bank of America. But if you want to go with the studs, you go Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Goldman. And again, I would just buy them on dips. I would try to stay disciplined, buy them on dips, try not to chase these rallies. I know that I say that a lot, and it's useless because in this market, a lot of things just keep moving higher. Okay. But the best entries really are off these dips once they get out of the way. They really are. Especially with options. You're chasing this, you really need a lot of momentum to continue to make money on swings, right? On swings, I'm talking. So look for those dips. Like this was ideal. Okay, whether it worked or not, this was ideal. Niner bottom right there, right? Niner low, off a pullback, beauty for an entry. Beauty. Let's see what else we got. So that's Bank of America, some flow. I put this name on here because they're starting to add and move some stuff out with time, which is interesting. I don't know if you guys are still in it. I know some of you who were in it. I was in it. I'm not in it anymore. SENS. This is a little guy. A lot of little guys, man. A lot of little guys. If you like playing the little guys, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. I like playing the little guys. MJ! What's up, MJ? MJ loves the little guys. Some of us like playing the little guys. Again, I'm not playing the options in it. I know people do. Okay. A lot of these things have seen a lot of action. So the liquidity's been there when they're hot. I like playing the equity. I like scalping them. Sometimes I'll hold them a little for an extra couple days. But just when they're catching a ton of heat intraday, I just like getting in the middle of that. I just like getting in the middle of that. Because you can almost feel it going higher. Just you're benefiting off the buying. You're not even benefiting that, it works out or the bet's working out. It's just the momentum of it, right? So it's been incredible. This thing has been stellar since the flow has heated up here. Like, look at this move. You're talking about, all kidding aside, you could go back and look. This thing was catching action at 40 cents. We were laughing at it at the time. We were laughing at it. And now, they're tripping over themselves up at $3. What is this thing? Ryan, have we figured out what this thing is, by the way? Is it 3D? Is it? Oh. So like, wait, sensors for cars or sensors for biotech? Oh, biotech. Gotcha. Interesting. Biotech. Yeah, Niner low is the DeMark signal that I'm referring to. Oh, okay. Biotech. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of these things, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what the hell they do. Some of them that catch a lot of action, I try to dig because I like to know the story, because there's that hidden sizzle. But a lot of these things, especially when I'm getting in intraday, I have no idea. Sends EVBG. This is another nice bet, really nice bet that catches earnings. Look at the size of this sweep. What a shame. See, that's the problem. I don't know if this thing would catch a sweep like this without earnings involved. But EVBG, Elliot Victor, boy, girl, catches a big order ahead of earnings. I like to look there too, man. What do they do, these guys? EVBG. That's a good looking name, huh? They build bridges? Oh, okay. What do you mean, Congressman? I see being sarcastic again. This Tim Mike can never take a communication service for notification emergencies. Software. Wow. Okay. I like this a lot, this look. See what happens off earnings. This is a good looking name, guys. EVBG. See, that's like, these are the spots I like, Obviously here is my sweet spot personally, but after a move like this is ideal. Here it is. Boop. And here comes a sweeper like that. If no earnings involved, this is a beauty. This is a beauty. Okay. for a number of reasons. Like, and I just want to make this clear too, because some of the newcomers, as far as earnings are concerned, when I say, oh, earnings, okay, that doesn't mean it can't be day traded. Day trading has nothing to do with earnings. You know, you're making a bet on more buying coming in and benefiting off the momentum. I'm talking about swing trading. Okay. Why? Because again, forget it, earnings. This doesn't tell us anything about earnings. So you're either going to play for a run up into earnings or nothing, right? That's the problem. Okay. They report on the 18th. So we'll see what that looks like. Hopefully there's a dip or not a big reaction there. Knowing our luck, the stock will be up 50. Right? That's usually how it goes. Little guys, accumulation, TRVN. There's been accumulation in this thing. And especially the last couple of days, Friday heated up nice. TRVN, looks like a biotech, right? I got MJ salivating. They have earnings in March. I don't think earnings matter to this, right? I don't think so. But anyway, they got earnings March 10th, I'm seeing here. Looks like a biotech heating up. So do a little research, dig into it, see what you find. Here's what they were accumulating all day. June, $3 calls. And this is what I like about it. Laying nice wood, right? A lot of times you see these June in a cheap name, $3 calls, 15 cents, 20 cents. I like when they're willing to dish out some cash. And these are just 3 sweeps. There were plenty more accumulation throughout the whole day. All right, so TRVN. Angie, another one, buying all day long. It almost felt algo-like, like robotic, like somebody had sweeping offers every 10 minutes in the name. This is post earnings done here. Anybody got any sizzle on this thing? Angie? High short interest. That's a good bullet there. Thank you. The earnings didn't, again, I don't know the guidance or anything, MJ, but they lost money. It didn't seem anything too exciting, but guidance could have been, you know. High short interest, misunderstood earnings. Oh, maybe a takeout candidate? Could be. But yeah, really interesting. I wish I had an intraday chart of the flow you would see. I'll show you right here. And I'll go back. I like when they accumulate like this, you know? Somebody building a position, not this doesn't really tell the whole story here. But you could see, right? Call buyers throughout the whole session. Bing, 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 bing. Stock obviously strengthening with the buying. Really? Do you remember the month on it, Shree? For February. Interesting. This is kind of what the flow looked like off Trade Alert here. See, 6,000 of the March 17 and a halves opening activity. Some Febs caught play. Looks like on the March line too. But this is all the same day. These are all the posts from the same day. Again, you want to know strength of action, guys. We spoke about this, right? For those of you who are members, this is accumulation, right? One sweep could mean anything. Yeah, maybe we get some momentum, a day trade, but this is where, like, you know what I mean? There's some legit buying going on. This was, 3:30. So there you could get an idea. Multiple sweeps. This was all day. See, look, this was earlier in the day, wasn't as much. All day long. All right. So 2 names there, TRVN, Angie, cheaper names with some accumulation. IVZ. Where the hell's my chart? Oh. Look at this. Is this, I'm pissed off. Is this the, I don't know if you guys would know. Is this, what's his name? The activist in it? IVZ? Is this, what's his name? Yeah, Invesco. I wanted to buy this thing. This is, what's his name? There's a Sharpie in it. We've been seeing flow for a while in this. Pelosi, right? This is Pelosi. And the other guy, what's the Sharpie? Come on. Not Ackman, not Elliott. Another really reputable guy we see sweeps with. No, 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 no. He's got glasses. No, older guy. You guys are not going to. He was a Trump supporter and then came out after the thing. Peltz, thank you, Ryan. My boy Ryan knows. Nelson Peltz, thank you. Peltz, I think this is his. Son of a gun. We see his name swept a lot. IVZ. Baidu. What, you talk about missiles? Can we talk about the Baidu missiles for a second? Have you guys seen some of the orders in Baidu? I'm not even talking about Friday. Forget Friday. I'm talking about going back to last year, mid last year, whatever it was, end of last year. Unbelievable. Like, Baidu is back, my friends. Baidu is back. Obviously, you see what the stock's doing. But we've been saying it for a bit now, right? Baidu, there's not a doubt that this thing's back, and there's some big time buying in it. Big time. Yeah, well, this thing was been out of fit for a long time, MJ. Long time. This thing was an animal back in the day. Animal. But Baidu on dips, guys. You know, if you like these names, Baidu on dips, there's so much buying in this thing. And the sweeps are all torpedoes. There's not a small order in this thing. There's not a small order. Again, multiple sweeps Friday. I took one of them. Feb down here. Okay, you got earnings coming up. This was an $800,000 sweep. And that's like a small order, average order for their Baidu. But yeah, talking about Chinese stocks, all right, you got PDD, that is the beast of all beasts. They buy PDD almost every day, right? You got, what's his face? That's the recent hot one, VIPs. I call it baby PDD. Keep an eye on this VIPs. I played it a couple times this week, trades. I wish I had put away this thing. I wish. You do have earnings coming up. So again, maybe you get lucky, get a dip. Possible. It's had a nice run. But keep an eye on this VIPs. Baby PDD, I call it. And PDD, you know, we talk about like Baidu action, PDD. I don't think there's been more action. There's not too many names that have seen as much action as PDD out there. Going back a year. Yeah, JD solid. JD sees some big orders, you know, but just not like PDD. But JD, a lot of buying. Billy, that's another good one. Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's Billy. You guys know the story here. This Billy was my baby once upon a time. But I wouldn't fool with it. I think it looks okay. It catches flow from time to time. I like flow into selling when it's being sold off. Like recently, if you remember down here, and there was some decent orders. But you know, other than that, there's just easier trades out there. You know, there are easier trades out there. Like you're better off, like what someone just mentioned, a JD on a dip, right? There was a recent dip, and it gets bought right back up. This was the dip off Baba, and they tattooed it. Remember? Baba, the whole ant thing where they were breaking down the doors. Right into a niner. Bink. There you go. So my personal opinion, you're better off in these. You know? A lot of momentum in these. But yeah, we'll talk about Chinese names in a bit. There's a lot of them. Vroom. Now this thing, we've talked about this name quite often, right? Vroom. It's been an interesting trade when they hit it down into the lows and then for a squeeze, right? A couple times. Now, I think this is real. I think this is real. They're going further out in time with the action, and you know who's in it, right? Yeah. What the? Big Bill. Yeah, Big Bill. Big Bill. Bill Miller. All right. So again, had a nice lift this week. You can get a little breather here. I'd probably wait for a little breather. Might have some more upside, another day or so, and then a breather, and I would look towards that. And again, you're talking about a lot of real estate here. This thing has done nothing since the IPO. Yeah, Carvana is a comp, right? And look at that. Sheesh. There's another name I remember. Oh my God, Carvana. All right, so Vroom. Wait. We got a couple pages here. Nike caught some nice flow. Same thing like Starbucks. I think what happened here, people had to take off some exposure and then just put it right back on, guys. They had to put it right back on. See? What a move. Nike. Yeah, looks good. It's got room still. Doesn't even look tired. Just got started Friday. XERS. Got a little guy here. Caught an interesting sweep. XERS, go. What's the sizzle? Tell me. What'd I do? I X'd out the chart. Hold on, I gotta get the chat back on here. All right. Diabetes again? Oh, so this must be a sector thing, huh? Me either, MJ. You think I know about these biotechs? But look, nice ramp this week. Unusual sweeper activity. Keep an eye on it if you like the little guys. April 10s got a couple sweeps. This was the best looking one of the bunch. Opening it. They do have earnings March 11th. Again, I don't know if that matters. You can see here 2 sweeps I put on here. April 10s, 75, 80 cents. Just go look in orders for that name. Okay. So keep an eye, XERS. This is one that caught a ton of action Friday. Stella. This is an ADR auto name. Vehicles. Look at that. Look how hot this thing got. All right, you got Pink Panther for a long stretch here too. Then it finally rolls over, comes in. You got a nice pullback. Not bad. Oh, wait. This is FCAU? Just a different symbol? Wait a second. Oh, I'm wondering why I never heard of this thing. All right, thank you. FCAU. FCAU would catch action, a lot of action. Now it makes sense. Because Stella never caught action. I never even heard of it. And then now it makes sense. Thank you. All right, so that's Chrysler. DM, I just threw the name on here because actions, oh my God, I didn't even see that close. There was a sweep on this thing. Where was it? Was it this dip or this dip? I think it was the first dip. It might have been right here. That was some spot. And it could have been here. I don't know. Either or. Look at this now. Teom. Oh, you know what? You know who's got a nice position in this too? Yep. Bill Miller came on TV and told us all to buy at 17. You're right, so. It was down here. Desktop Metals. Good looking stock. What a beast. Anywho, this thing's gone already. So Twitter. Yeah, Big Bill. He's a legend. He's a, you know what I mean? Ani, he's no joke. He's been around a long time. A long time. Twitter caught some nice action again. There's been some real nice action in Twitter. You do have earnings. You know, Twitter's been seeing nice action for a bit now, quite a while. Here was that. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. So here's your heat, right? You don't want to buy into that. You want to wait for something like this. And look at that, right into a 9er low. Bink. So you got earnings this week. The Blue Birdie. AFA, these weed names. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't take them serious. They're serious. I mean, the action, they're not catching no spec action anymore. This AFA is catching bombs. Bombs. CGC, they report this week. Bombs in that thing. Even, I can't even believe I'm saying this. Even this Tilray is catching bombs. I was wrong. I was wrong. You know, I wasn't a believer in these things, you know? I wasn't a believer in these things. ACB catches action, more the spec action, you know? This is more of a spec play. Yes, that's one of my favorite plays. VFF. VFF. Again, you know, here's the thing you got to understand. And because the type of market we're in, you know, it gets sloppy. But yeah, I remember people like somebody was complaining, caught action, and it didn't go up right away. You got to understand, this is not new action in VFF. This thing was, you guys remember? The initial sweep was down here. You guys remember that? I had no idea it was weed related. Remember? Or like they're tattooing a farm name. We had no idea. Okay? But that's where the best action came in. Here. Right? Spot-wise and everything. But, you know, it's doing its thing. I mean, not everything's going to go up in a straight line. And if you could get it off breathers and dips, that's where you want to find entries. But there's a decent amount of action in this thing. They're not going away. They are not going away. All right? Really nice action committed in this thing. VFF. IBN is a bank that caught some flow, caught a nice bet. Yeah, I don't know if anybody's interested in this. IBN. Party. Caught another nice order. Party has seen some action too. Look at this Party. I think a few of you had this Party. I don't know if you're still in it. Party City. Reopening play. Look at it. It's a big move. And again, you scroll back. PRTY. Unreal. Just caught action a week ago, if you remember. Multiple sweeps. Oh boy. The Widowmaker. Gilead. I don't believe it. Oh boy. I can't buy it. Anywho, there's been sweeps in the name, right? I know a couple of you played it. Well done. If you made money in Gilead, I told you, frame that ticket. Not too many can account for that. This thing has taken plenty of money from people. Plenty. Wow. Half hospitalized with COVID, treated with their drug. You know, you know what it is? I don't trust the name. That's what it is. Like a trade is a trade, right? I mean, you're in for a trade, a big deal. But, you know, longer term, I don't trust the name. You know, I didn't trust this, right? When that remdesivir came out over here. But look at this price action, right? This was when all the hype was there. And look at this price action with hype. Look at that. Like, you try sitting through that. And then ultimately to experience this, right? I can't do it. You know, there's so many names. I can't do it. Anyway, there is buying, right? So that's all that counts. My job is to tell you what they're buying. And there's buying. Here's one I'm really kicking myself. I'm not going to lie to you, right? We get sick over winners left and right. Like that. You had the Dr. Fauci named Moderna, right? That was the first one to catch real sweeper activity. A lot of you made money in it. Obviously, if you held it, you'd be doing cartwheels all over the place. Moderna, really, I didn't come close to ever pulling the trigger. This was the one that I really wanted to buy off the sweeper activity back then. NVAX. I never pulled the trigger on it, MJ. I just never pulled the trigger. Kept saying I would, and I never pulled the trigger. The bombs, this thing, torpedoes in this thing. Oop, NVIDIA, I'm typing. This thing torpedoes. The type of action is what I like. You know what I mean? The type of sweeps. Sharpie sweeps. That's what they are. Sharpie sweeps. And it's still catching it. It's still catching these Sharpie sweeps. It's amazing. Still here. Still. Up, ran into a niner here. Maybe a little breather. Look at that move, though. Yep. But yeah, and what I mean by Sharpie sweeps, you see, look at this, okay? This is not, you know, these aren't shoemakers buying this. Feb 280s, 900 grand. Feb 280s again, 650. Feb 280s again, 600. April 260s. Look at it. Look at the wood. Look at it. Right? Like, no, and you see how these orders are processed? Like, nobody's talking about the action in NVAX, right? It doesn't come in one block for like 8 million that catches everybody's eye. 185 lot swept. You know what I mean? 198 lot. Sharpies. But yeah, that's the type of action, you know, that I like. So yeah, I'm kicking myself because I really wanted to own it. You know, I wanted to take a shot on the COVID name. You know, and that's it. The other one too that we were talking about, because now, you know, that trade is come and gone, was this SRNE, and it got lucky too with the short squeeze, right? Look at this one. Anybody still in this? Sharpies are funds, institutions, Mike, stuff like that. Ackman, Pence, Elliott. Anybody still have this SRNE? They haven't come recently, MJ. Post squeeze, a little bit of action, but right before this squeeze, it got tattooed again. And what we liked about it, they're in here, MJ. You see this down here? Loaded up in 2022 strikes. every day. Oh, you scalped it, Havana? Yeah, I quick traded it a couple times too throughout the process, but no, I didn't put away anything. Yeah, that's what helped here. The squeezers came after it. So you had a really nice squeeze. David, it's possible now, yeah, on that NVAX. You know? Now up here, it's certainly possible. That's the problem with repeat activity, you know, after a move. It's definitely possible. You know, so that's the problem after a move. All right, that's the top bet list. Again, I could have put at least 8 to 10 more sweeps on there, but I didn't want to get too sloppy. Throw some names at me. Anybody notice any action in names? Whoa. Oh, hold on. I got to expand this. I can't see. It's going by too quick. Oh, MGNI. So somebody post MGNI. That's a beauty. That's a beauty. I mean, you're still in it. Pat yourself on the back. You should be proud of yourself. This was, you know, initial activity. You know, you're talking about $12, right? Initial activity. Stock is 60 now. Can you believe it? 60. No, forget the puts. Where'd you see the puts? Don't look at the put. You don't look at puts in this name after a move like that. Of course, there's going to be some put buying as protection. Match, they bought the dip. Again, had a niner here. You had earnings. Here's your earnings dip. And they came and made the top bet list. June sweep. No put sellers did. I was looking for put selling. They didn't show up. Well, they didn't really have any time to. The stock just snapped back in 2 days. Look at this. They buy every dip. Every single dip in match they buy. Every dip. Every dip. And put sellers too. They just didn't get a chance this go around. Every dip. So DKNG, see, you know, you got this rip off Cassie, ARC buying, and Super Bowl. What I would say about DKNG, I mentioned to you guys after we found out she bought. She's got some track record, short, but some track record of buying into earnings. You know, already just off telling people she bought it, she's already heading in the right direction. But when she buys right ahead of earnings, it's a really good sign. You know, and you got the Super Bowl here too. You got a lot of hype here. You know, would I chase the niner here? No, I wouldn't. I mean, listen, this is the problem. DKNG, you had ample opportunity, right? Can we all agree on that? DKNG, you had ample opportunity to find an entry, right? Am I exaggerating, Ivan? Ample opportunity off dips, off, you know, stupid fade reversals. You had, you know, this niner here, the first one. You had another niner here, right? So for me, like, I get it. Maybe it goes higher off the Super Bowl thing, you know, for a quick trade, whatever. But as far as the position up here, I can't do it now, you know? Yeah, a lot of flow throughout this process. So, you know, this is now, you're talking about a real nice move here. You know, let's see. Maybe you get a little sell on the news next week, right? You can look for an entry there. But I wouldn't chase here. You know, if you're in it, hold it without a doubt. But I wouldn't chase for a new entry here. That's the point I'm making. Hold on, guys. Names are going too fast here. There's a lot of names. PLTR, don't they have an analyst meeting or something coming up? PLTR? Interesting spot again here. I would see the problem with PLTR. Oh, it's over with? Oh, maybe it is, Lotto. I don't know. You could be right. Yeah, the demo. Okay. It's over with. You got an interesting spot here again, though. See, what I would like, you remember all the sweeper activity that came in off the squeeze? It was a Wall Street bet name and all that. They tattooed it, right? So what I would like to see now is the flow die down. I would like to see sweeper activity die down. And then when they step on the gas and you see that aggressive buying come in, that would be the heads up on a move. You know what I mean? That's what would be ideal here. Is it going to play out that way? Who knows? Okay. You also have earnings coming up, and you got to be careful there because this thing could definitely sell off any negative chatter out of that quarter. You know, you got a big move here. It could definitely pull a fastly and get hit. So be careful. You know, be careful off earnings. But, you know, I like the action in the name. There's nothing wrong with it. It's had a real nice move. You know, it's a bit crowded. What else we got here? Yeah, Teva, yeah, looks good. Big Bill is in it. You got earnings coming up here. I'm going to roll right before it. And that's it. You know, I like it longer term. You know, I'm up in it and I got some nice cushion. So, you know what I mean? Looks good. Big Bill, man. He's killing it. He's killing it. He kills it in a lot of different markets too. Bill Miller. Pinterest is a beast. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just tons of action too. Pinterest catches a lot of flow. A lot of flow. You know, I don't know what to tell you guys up here now, though. I mean, there's nothing to say. All right. It's been catching a lot of flow, big quarter, big move, the whole 9 yards. The whole 9 yards. Caterpillar, I haven't really seen too much action in it, but looks good. You got a niner here, right? So a little breather off the upside niner, then a downside niner here, bounce. Looks good. You know, we'll see if these names heat up. I would like to see some sweeper activity in them. There's just not that aggressive. There's flow in some of these names, but the aggressive risk appetite out there is in small cap and these theme growth plays, right? EV plays, software, 3D, space. You know what I mean? That's where all the crazy aggressive action is. So I would love to see some aggressive buying in real names. You know what I mean? Names that have been around because the industrials have been lagging, stuff like that. Commodities is another group. Commodities could go bananas. They already have, but they could go bananas here. You know what I mean? They could go bananas. So, yeah, I know, but there could be a ton of more upside left, Steven, you know? Ton of more upside left. Like this FCX catches a lot of flow, right? A lot of action in this FCX. They bought it Friday again. Valet is a play on that. You got a little dip there. Well, a niner, by the way. You know, Valet a little slower, but look at the move in this thing. When they get hot, move. CCJ, good call. That's another one that's been moving nicely. Cease action. So, you know, you got a lot of different things out there, a lot of different things that can see action. And that's what I'm hoping for post earnings, you know, because the small cap theme plays, they can catch action in any market. You don't need a rally. You don't need anything, right? These $2 to $10 stocks, the market could be dead for a week and they can move. So I want to see some big boy action in some of these larger names that maybe have been lagging. AQMS, that had a sick run too, right? Look at this. What was the other one? AQMS. There was another one that that we owned. I didn't own AQMS. I owned the other one. You guys remember? Had a nice move, ran up in the straight line. It's with an A, I think. Like a chemical name or something. No, you guys know it. I'll probably think of it. AMR. Oh, is that, wait, AMRS? Is that it? No. Oh, that's it. AMRS. Holy sugar. This thing's back at 12. I'm not saying Lucci. Do I sound like saying Lucci? I'm Wall Street Jesus, but Niner is DeMark exhaustion signals. This AMRS, look at this move. So a lot of us were involved here in this move through the Pink Panther, right back at new highs. But again, you look, scroll back on these things, look at this. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. 7, right? $7. Jesus Christ. It's going to be a double soon. What else we got? I got to scroll up here. There's got to be a better way with this chat, because when all you're posting at the same time, I see 3 things out of the whole bunch here. Hold on. What do we got? WBA. I think that's a play you can watch on dips throughout the year. WBA. Good call. You got CVS earnings coming up. So I would probably wait on that. Maybe you get lucky, get a dip. But CVS and WBA. I like WBA. A lot of flow in WBA. A lot of flow. And there's a lot of room to the upside there as well. There's more too big picture. But this has been a nice trade off flow, But big picture wise, there's certainly more upside. There's certainly more upside. Cody has seen flow. They report? They didn't report yet, right? No. Cody has seen decent flow. You got earnings coming up, I think this week. MJ net, they tattoo. Every downtick net catches action. Every downtick, MJ. Every little dip they buy net. Net. How about SE? Have you seen SE, MJ? This SE, I can't anymore. But yeah, every little dip they buy these things. Every little dip. I keep thinking, when are these things going to consolidate? A lot of these growth names, they went through night. Look at Zoom. Went through a healthy breather here. No? Like, this is ideal right here. This is beautiful. Like, when's SE going to do that? It's not going to happen. I mean, give me a break. But, the excitement behind SE is, you can't comprehend. Not riffraff excitement. I'm talking about big money excitement. Kathy tripping over herself to buy it. Some other fund just bought it. Like, they're buying it up here. Then Drunken Miller, that was his play. But yeah, SE. By the way, anybody still in DT? Very quietly. Remember what we said, right? I don't own shit. But very quietly, what did we say? Right? Tough time. Can't get out of its own way. Weeds people, shakes people out. Now she's rolling. Goodbye. Nice speed. Nice. But this thing is just getting started, DT. Yeah, kind of. Vive has been around a while and is a big winner, You could see here. Vive had its time in the spotlight. DT is one of those names CT, what am I doing there? That nobody really knows of yet, but they will. You know what I mean? They will. But again, it's about being patient in these things. It's about being patient. I think it's software, MJ. Yeah. I don't know the exact, type of software, but you know what I mean? But yeah, if you're in it, you got to be smart about it. Roll, you know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do to keep yourself in it. Because it's not only, surviving while it goes up, that's the easy part. But if there's some consolidation, if you want to catch the big moves, which is so difficult for me and everybody else, you got to sit through consolidation. And you're not going to do that in short dated strikes, guys. It's not going to happen. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You know, you'll get lucky and catch big winners in, calls a month or two out. You got to get lucky. But if you want those big trend moves, exactly, you got to have the time. You got to pay for time and be patient and not watch every daily tick in it, right? Stick to the thesis, especially when they catch flow. Like it was one thing when DT, it looked good and was consolidating, but there wasn't any flow. So that was the missing link. Once you caught that impressive action, somebody's eyeballs are on it besides yours, right? Somebody's building a position in that matters. So yeah, and if you see dips, right, market pulls, likely DT comes down with it, that sort of thing. You can look for trades on those entries too. But yeah, this thing busted out nice, and nice follow through too, and caught a little more action. But yeah, I wanted to remember to mention that. Yeah, I gotta go 6 months out, Ani. Like, if it's something I want to hold on to, you know what I mean? If not, I go like 3 months out, and then I'm looking to roll from there. You understand? Because me, I'm looking to keep it simple. I can't get into, I'm not going to write calls against. I can't do that thing. It's just not me. That's all. No matter how much you try to convince me to do that stuff, I can't do it. But for me, like, I got to keep it simple, and the simple way is, if I want to catch a trend move, I got to make sure I have time. The more time, the better. The more time, the better. And then it doesn't bother me. Stock goes down for a week or two. It doesn't bother me because it has nothing to do with what you're betting on anyway, right? Shouldn't let it affect you. Stock over a course of a week can do anything based on a million different things. Me personally, okay, and again, a lot of you have heard this. Everybody's different, okay, but me personally, okay, anything I'm playing short term, I play the equity. I play the stock, common stock. Okay, so stuff that you would buy weeklies, monthlies, I play the stock. I don't buy weeklies. Okay, the stuff I want to build positions in, right, for intermediate term time horizons, that's the stuff I like to get, a little more aggressive and buy just calls. I don't get clever. I just buy calls. I buy calls with a decent amount of time behind it. And what I like to do is I like to put in what I'm willing to lose, period. Okay. If I want more exposure, if it's not enough for me, I'll buy equity with it. But when I buy calls with time, I want my stop loss to be zero. No stress. You understand? I don't have to worry about anything. Should I stop out? Should I hold? Should I do this? Should I do that? All the emotions on a daily basis, as you're looking at ticks intraday, you just can't withstand that. You understand? You can't withstand it. So you got to do the simple things to keep you in it. And for me, go out with time, no stop loss. But I lose what I put in, period. Stop worrying about how much money you're going to make and worry about what you're risking. And this way you have no stress, right? If you worry about your risk. And then you could complain, oh, I should have bought more. That's a good thing. If you're complaining about you should have bought more, that means you made money, right? That's good complaining. The bad complaining is, oh, I went in over my head. I got walloped. I blew up my account. That's the bad complaining. Yeah, John, I mean, I tried to put that rule, but I complain about everything. I think I do it for fun sometimes. YSG, what a move. Look at this guy. I was in this once upon a time, YSG. Just complain about shorts. Exactly. Yeah, this, as far as much as a real company you can be in China, this is a legit company, YSG. And, with some real nice action. And it's been moving nicely. YSG, nice move. SNDL, I'm speechless the amount of action in this thing. Speechless. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. I don't know. Like, I really don't know anymore. Like, usually you would see that type amount of action and it would be telling you that this thing is real. But, it's a lot of spec action too. So I really don't know. It's just in play. It's in play. There's a lot of interest in this thing, SNDL. I don't know, I don't know much about the company or anything like that. I know it's weed, but so much action, man. So much action. Is it being pumped by them too? Wall Street Bets? Yeah, there's a lot of volume in this thing. A lot. Which is good because there's a lot of momentum. But, I don't know longer term what that means. I don't know. Yeah, this one too, not nowhere near the action. This is more of under the radar type action, Kern. KERN. Yes, got hit Friday again. This is nice, Kern. This is nice. There's so many names, guys. So many names. NNDM stud. Look at there's no sellers in this thing. There are no sellers in this thing. Look at this. They do offerings, they do secondaries, they do this, they do that. There's no selling. If there's a reason for selling, like if a short piece comes out, maybe it'll knock it down for a week. I don't know. But it's in a sector right now that's unconscious and catches flow all the time. NNDM. It's just, again, hard for me to look to buy it here when all day you could have bought it here off low, all day. So the egg hatched, but yeah, looks good. Aunt Jemima. Unreal. Like, this is still a good name to trade, right? Down, stock is red and catches sweeper activity. Day trading has been gold. No? Anybody been doing that? This thing is down or like unch, up or down a little bit. Easy red to green trade. No? But beyond that, you got me. What else we got? AYTX. AYTX. What? AYTX. What the hell is this? 10 cents? Are you serious? Oh boy. AYTX. CBAT. The one thing that would turn me off the CBAT now is that it's getting noticed by riffraff. So that's a turnoff for me. Like, if you remember the CBAT, a lot of us liked back here when nobody even knew what the hell they were. You know what I mean? And then kapow. Now, even here, you had a nice entry. Now, I saw Zero Hedge posted an article. Wall Street Bets is talking about the next squeeze play. So that's the only thing. But in this market, may not mean anything. May not mean anything. Riffraff is the retail crowd, Arcel. The retail crowd. GSAT, yeah, what they've been doing in GSAT, they've been pushing out a lot of the short-term buying they did, which was a lot of buying, right? So GSAT, they're now moving out with some time. If you remember, they did it with this. And look at it now, IDEX. It's just patience, guys, You got to have the patience. I mean, this IDEX, right? We spent a lot of time talking about this name. Good job, Rod. C-Rod. But this is, you know, a lot bullish positioning, right? They were buying leaps. They were buying everything. They were buying everything. This is another name I wanted to put away, just even some equity. I just didn't, you know, I've been really sloppy, just not getting around to certain things because, you know, I'm not looking to be super aggressive. That's all. Do you have a small piece, Ryan? Remember, you had it. Maybe you get really lucky. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. You know? Yeah, leave it alone. Who knows? Maybe this thing becomes real. I don't even know, like, do they have a legit story to them? I know there's some sizzle around it, but EV name? You never know. You never know. I saw somebody mention Solo. That still hasn't really exploded yet. You know, it catches action. Hasn't caught anything good looking yet. A lot of short-term play. So what I would like to see in it, I would like to see a Sharpie sweep. You know what I mean? Like one of those. And then I think it's ready. Yeah, I like the look though. You know, you had that crazy move and you had a nice breather, like IDEX. No Sharpie sweeps in Solo. More of spec action. You know, spec action. But does catch action. Does catch action. UAVS, Discord Action Friday. UAVS. You know, big move already, but you're off a little bit of a breather if you like it. I mean, this thing went from $1 to 15. Jesus, some of these moves. You see, oh man, that was almost a coffee debacle. Hold on. They're getting my key. I just knocked over a coffee. Story of my life. Every effing day, I knock over a coffee. Every day. No matter what I do. It's amazing. It really is amazing. The damage I can do with a coffee, you have no idea. Okay? Just on my way up here before the webinar started, I fumbled the coffee. I mean, 1 cup of coffee. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. It ended up all over my wall. It's like a portrait on my wall now. 1 cup of coffee. Okay? From the stairs all the way onto a wall, multiple feet away. The damage, you have no idea the damage I could do. In my truck, damage all over the place. So yeah, UAVS looks interesting. Looks interesting. What other names we got here? Hold on, let me pull up some names here too. Here, hold on. Some of the recent names they throw on here. Let's see what we got here. Oops, wrong. This is my other trading view. Maybe it's not on here. Oh, how about by the way, SPACs are, we talked about this, right? They're likely the thing. Yeah, let's talk about that because I think a few of you own this. This is a Kathy play. Did they report yet? That's the only thing I didn't like about that action is because it came right ahead of earnings. You know what I mean? So I would wait to see if they hit it again. You know, because don't forget, like, it was earnings flow, right? It had a nice move. I mean, a lot of us day traded it, but it had a nice move off of the flow, you know, a week before earnings. You know, as far as earnings, the flow's got nothing to do with earnings. All right, we talk about that all the time. So now what you want to see sweepers buy the thing now post earnings. That'll tell you that this action that came in was real and not spec action. You understand? So let's see. Even better spot here. You know, this is a slow name anyhow. You're talking about a Japanese pharmaceutical, right? So, you know, there are easier movers out there. But an interesting spot now off a dip, off earnings. You know, later, Mercs. See you Monday. Beaky, longer term. This is, if you're going to buy a name with time, Chinese play, this is interesting. as far as potential upside. The action that caught my eye was in 2023 leaps, and there was actually October sweeps that were decent too. So you got 2 rounds of action that had some decent time behind it. But definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. Yeah, Kathy's been buying this name, right? Beaky? So, interesting Chinese name. Another interesting Chinese name that I'm a little, I hate to use the word scared, but I get concerned about buying as far as holding overnight positions is this IQ. But VR, is a hot thing in China. I could see Kathy buying this thing. The only problem is, again, they were cooking the books once upon a time. So, I don't know. Otherwise, I would have bought this already. This IQ. Let's see what it does off earnings. API, that's a good stock, right? Look at this. Jesus Christ. What are you gonna do with this now? Gone. YSG caught flow. Yeah. YSG had flow. You guys, the spot was, you're not gonna find a better spot than that. Over here. That's where they bought YSG aggressively. Yeah, there were a couple other plays. Remember, like, what is this? MNSO? This one they bought down there. There's another one, a health science type play that they bought down there. I don't remember the name. Anyway, CLDR has had nice action. Yeah, nothing new. They've been buying it for a while. But, it's a slower name doing its thing. Clove, yeah, you got that thing or the overhang right now, but the dust settles, they'll probably buy right back up. There was some sweeper activity into this late day buying the blood for a bounce back, though. It wasn't anything. Yeah, Thursday. But they were playing just a snapback. You know what I mean? Snapback. Short dated stuff. QE, we saw some UOA, unusual activity in this QE. It wasn't anything magnificent, just some unusual activity. But no, this is not. Is this it? This is not it. Q. Wait a second. Is it? This is it? I don't know. CCIV. What do you want me to tell you? Again, the 8 hatch there. You got more downside risk now, okay? Because, you got a lot of people in this name. So you have no edge in this name anymore. You have no edge. What you can do is on down days when they sweep it up, you can buy it for a trade. But, guys, this is going to end up being the problem, okay? Look, you know what I mean? You want to get here. That's where you want to be. When you're buying stuff up here, when the music stops, you're done. Yeah, $15. Exactly. Ryan's, we were talking about this thing at $15. It's 35. So, these are going to be the death of us. Mark my words. It's a gut feeling, so I could be wrong, but SPACs are going to be the death of us, the death of this bull market. Could get hotter before it does, but it's going to be the death of us. Yeah, you see what's going on. You got everybody and their mother creating their own SPAC. One of 2 things have to happen. Either the market has to weed out the good and bad SPACs. In other words, you get outperformance from the legit good companies and underperformance from the bad ones, right? So the market sorts it out. That would be a healthy thing, and the bull market could last. But if you just have SPACs, people making money off hype, it's not going to end well. It's GameStop all over again, guys. What they're going to do is they're going to feed the riffraff. They're going to make money in SPACs. They're going to make money again. They're going to make money again. They're going to make money again. Ultimately, to go all in on a basket, and they all go to zero. I mean, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. You either acknowledge that and understand that, or you're going to lose your money. But that's the way it goes. Not everybody is going to just buy SPACs because A-Rod's involved and print their own money. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. And you see how the market reels people in. Okay, what it does is it gives players a taste, because if you got burnt as soon as you did it, you wouldn't go in heavier. You understand? So what they do is they give them a taste, make some money, go ahead, make some money, and then they give them the hammer. All right. And you know what cracks me up about all this too? I'm sorry I go on a rant. We could talk about names again. Okay. What cracks me up is how they're giving it to the big guy, right? Wall Street, Main Street, all this shit. It couldn't be any further from the truth. It's the total opposite. The total opposite. What happened was GameStop, you had one guy on YouTube who did some homework and got it right? And you had bigger money who got positioned in early and then sold it to the suckers up at 500, telling them to hold the line. Okay? I mean, you're a pyramid scheme from big guys to little guys. I mean, if you don't see that, you need to open your eyes. People get wrapped up in the hype and they don't even realize what the hell's going on. SPACs are the same thing. Same exact thing in SPACs, okay? Who's getting rich in SPACs? The people who own CCIV at $10, $11 before it even came out. And they're selling it to you at 40. That doesn't mean you can't make money trading it from 30 to 40. But watch what happens. Ultimately, when the riffraff crowd makes some money, enough money on these things, they fall in love. They want more, right? They go all in at higher levels, thinking that it never comes to an end. And they give it all back and then some. Right there, it's not that riffraff, they're wrong every time. It's that they're wrong in a big, big way at the end. That's what it is. Big way. That's the problem. You understand? So that's why, like, throughout my career, a big proponent, it's been a big thing. Cardinal rule of mine to get in as early as possible and forget about it when they go, right? Next, don't even consider it. I want to get in as early as possible when hardly anybody's talking about it. But right now, they're just feeding it all to the public, feeding it, right? Secondaries. Yeah, take more stock. Take it. Before you know it, these guys are all out. They cashed in their chips. And guess who's holding the bag as these things go from $40 to $2? They're not. You think all these SPACs are just going to rally, go to the moon, and everyone's going to get rich? You really think that's going to happen? Come on now. Right? You really think that's going to happen? Like, we don't even know. I don't know. And I got over 25 years experience in this game. I don't even know what half these companies are. Nuts. So again, it doesn't mean, you're right, we understand the game's rigged. We're not going to complain about it. We're going to try to benefit off it, but we want to be smart about it. We want to be smart about it. We want to do it in a smart way. So that's, I'm just making the point that it's not about one trade. You don't want to get in the habit of buying a stock that we were talking about at 15 at 35 now. You don't want to make that happen. You may make money this time, but that could be the worst thing that happens to you. That could be the worst thing that happens to you. Because you think that's going to happen again and again and again, and you're done. Oh, there's so many, Rod. Do you see that? Like, even Goldman shitting their pants over it. You see the charts they show of all these SPACs that come out and all? Later on, it's insanity. It's insanity. So that's why, it was similar to like in the 90s with the internet boom, the IPOs. This is just a different thing now. Instead of going public IPO, they do the backdoor route. And ultimately, I think that's what's going to bury us. We still have time, in my opinion. I think we dodged the bullet last week. But ultimately, I think that's going to be the bullet that takes us out, the bullet out. RBAC, I'm still holding, nothing major, a little piece because it's baseball related. I think their baseball thing fell through too, didn't it? I bought a little bit of it, but I'm still holding it. GAN, wow. Yeah, look good. Caught some nice action. Caught some big call spreads with time. Really nice move, GAN. ROK, we don't see too much flow in ROK. Rockwell Automation. Steady, right? This is a steady name. EN, we don't see too much flow in the rock. ENZ, what is that? EN, does that trade options? ENZ, oh my, what are you showing me here? What is this? How could this thing be trading at negative? This thing was trading at negative. What, a reverse split? What is that? Holy shit. Oh my God, I can't believe what I'm looking at. Yeah, this thing was part of the short squeeze. This thing was part of the short squeeze. I mean, if you see some sweeper activity now that it took a little bit of a breather, maybe there's another squeeze in it. Other than that, I wouldn't fall in love with it. I wouldn't fall in love with it. CLVS Sharpies, not that I know of. CLVS. There's been some flow in this thing, but not Sharpies. Gevo, I don't remember seeing flow in Gevo. Wow. Look at these stocks, man. $1 to 12. LRCX is a beast. Just, got a little too hot there, and now you got a breather. Let's see if we see some sweeper activity into this breather now. The semis got a little too hot. They got a little too hot. They're still holding up well, though. Oop. Let's see. What about the cyclical semis? See, these are the ones that are in play now. NXPI, like this is a big one here. NXPI. Marvell's 5G. Oh, nice little dip off a niner there, MRVL. Micron, WDC. Been catching a lot of action, WDC. So those are the cyclical semis that are in play now. May outperform. NXPI is one to watch. AMT, that caught some action. American Tower, this is, right? AMT. Looks decent. Underbelly, yeah, I like the underbelly, MJ. I like the underbelly. Oh, by the way, that's what I wanted to see. Hold on a second. There's what plays are on here? VIPs. So talking about EVs, you had it caught some news, but that GoEv had some flow this week. Caught a nice move, pulled back Friday. Actually, initially it was a nice spot too, and then 2-day move. Caught some news. This one's catching some action at a decent spot. I'm not impressed with the flow. I like the spot better. FSR. It's more, in other words, the flow is more, it's cheaper action, real cheap. You know what I mean? What I like is this, obviously, right? Dead. So, good looking sweep here would be ideal. But even the spec action may get it going. Yeah, there's been, like, you see what they're sweeping now, Ryan? They're sweeping really cheap out of the money stuff. I don't know if they're trying to catch news or what, But I would love to see just one good looking opening bet in this thing, even aside from heat. And then you could sit in it and not worry about it. Now it just looks like, I don't know if they're buying because they're buying the others. It's tough to get a gauge on it. Yeah. So, keep an eye on this definitely. If you like it already, maybe worth a shot off the spec action itself, right? Even if you're a little early. But if you're willing to miss it, if it's not going to bother you, if you miss it, wait on some better looking action. If you're in the room or on private Twitter, I'll let you know without a doubt if it catches a good looking sweep. You see the sweeps, right? Like now we see a million of them in like Blink and Neo. Later, Trevor, missiles. They're like missiles. This Blink, you talk about good looking sweeps. Whew, this thing catches size. BTWN, that's a SPAC, been catching some action. BTWN had an incredible move. I don't know if you guys caught it. I got lucky in it. Right off the action. I know, it's not enough these days. I get it, but I mean, $3 in a day, Yeah, I know, Ryan. We'll take that every given day, right? But a lot of people think there's more upside here. I get it. I don't know anything about the company, so don't even ask me about that. Laser catches sweeps. Actually is a decent name to scalp off sweeps, LAZR. Especially if it's down. Otherwise, just had a big move. And like a lot of them we're looking at, just breathing right now, consolidating. CGRO, I don't own it anymore. I stopped myself out. I wasn't going to hold on to it too long. But still looks okay. That's another SPAC that caught decent action. Yeah, so you got a couple of them here. I'll give you CGRO, the BTWN, as far as SPACs are concerned. This one, I bought a little of this just to fool around. PSAC. This one caught some nice action with time. PSAC. Where's another one here? There's a lot of them. Hold on. Here it is. This one I made money with. Again, maybe it goes higher. I'm not in it anymore. TPGY. You guys know this name? How many SPAC EV plays are there? Like 6,000? I mean, how many? Jesus. Yeah, TPGY caught some good looking action. And then there was another one with an S that had that was a nice hit for me. No, the EV play. That was one of my bigger winners. STPK. This. Oh, what the this one. STPK. I caught it here off the action. And then that happened. You guys remember. And then there was some more flow. But, that's another one that's been catching nice action. This STPK. NGA, more recent, caught some action here. That's what I mean. Look how many. I don't understand. Are these all going higher forever? You know what I mean? This is what concerns me about SPACs. There's so many. Like, what's the difference between all these names? Oh, I'm sorry, NGA, MPA. What's the difference between these names? I don't know. I'm sure some are going to survive and be legit, but there's going to be a lot of them that go to zero, guys. A lot. There's going to be a lot of them that go to zero. You guys realize that, right? Do you guys realize that? I hope you realize that. Yeah, but I'm saying, I don't care. You got whatever. They can look good. Again, it's an opinion whether you think it's legit or whatever the case. there's going to be a lot of them that go to zero. Just understand that. You know, it's just, again, like the internet boom, same thing. They all got a sexy story. They're all going to have reputable bigwigs behind them. Okay. Doesn't mean a damn thing. You can count on less than 2 hands the names that survived the internet boom, right? And even those got killed. Amazon caught a beating at the end, but survived, right? But I can give you a list of, from here to Chicago, of I don't know how many names that aren't around anymore. So just so you guys realize that, you know, they all look great now. Again, I'm not telling you, if we're trading them, we're trading them, but there's going to be a lot of these things that go whoop south, you know, south. And everyone's going to have an opinion, you know. Listen, I respect all your opinions, but to me, that doesn't matter. Everyone's going to be like, no, this is going to be around. No, this is going to be the one. No, this is going to be the one. You don't know until it's time. They're all going to come down together. They all look like they're going to go to zero together. Some are going to survive, but they're all going to go south at the same time. All of them. Yeah, it's a matter of when, Ryan. And you know, there could be some juicy upside left, without a doubt. You know, they can get crazy. You know what I mean? But that's going to be the sign that we're close, Ryan. You know, then we'll get a better handle on the timing. When they all start to go bonkers, then you're going to know it's all right. Last call. You know, last call. They're not all bonkers yet. You know, if you guys remember, about a month or so ago, I was more concerned because remember, it was like easy money, we were calling it. Every SPAC we touched, the thing was up $3-4 the next day. Okay. I was getting concerned, but you've had some healthy pullbacks. You know what I'm saying? You had some healthy consolidation out there now where I can definitely see this thing lasting a bit. You know, like even look, see this, right? Remember how much hype was behind it? But anybody who got caught, you know, chasing into it, look, you understand? Bonkers is when these things all go up in a straight line together. They go bananas for a period of time, you know, and that easy money period lasts longer than a couple of days, and then they'll blow up. Then they blow up. So, you know, like I was talking about on the recent webinar, that's going to be, in my opinion, again, not a correction. I'm talking about game over, music stopping. I think that's going to be the thing we need to watch out for. The period of time where things feel really easy. So think about GameStop or Bitcoin, the first boom, you know, in these things. And then we got to, you know, it's going to be difficult because everyone's going to want to get involved, but that's where we really got to make sure, you know, we're being prudent about things and not getting sucked in. Yeah, GM's been a beast. GM's been a beast. Looks so good too. A lot of action, GM. You know, 4-2. 4-2, a lot of action. And I hate to say it, but 4-2. You know, a lot of Disney looks good. A lot of action there. They have earnings. Be interesting to see if how they react off earnings. I can't get myself to buy Ford either, Alex. I can't do it. I can't do it. GM, I'll play. I can't buy Ford. I cannot buy Ford. Picard, I think they have earnings, right? Picard. Oh, no, had earnings. Wow, that looks good. Picard looks good. Looks really good. Kathy Wood's been buying Picard. I think we saw a sweep in it. I think we saw a sweep in Picard recently. Might have been leaps or something. PRTS, that still has upside in my opinion. You know, still has upside. Still a short position there. Still a hot sector and still sweepers. PRTS looks good. Yeah, same thing. Just be careful chasing. because you get stuck in the pullback and you're talking to yourself. But, you know, on dips, looks great. Fubo, that had a nice move too. We'll see over here. This week, something's going on with Fubo. Something's going on with Fubo this week, I think. An event or something. But yeah, Fubo, you know, down here, again, with the squeeze names, there was some big action. Big action. Yeah, this is another name you forget with all the action. This was another nice winner we had. And now, where we sold it, we look like morons. Where did we own Fubo off initial activity? Ryan, you got a good memory with this stuff. What price was Fubo initial activity? It was down here somewhere. Jesus Christ. Sub 10? Wow. Yeah, it was early. It was back here, MJ, somewhere here. This was the rally. I sold into this rally somewhere. And it just went bonkers. Yeah, initial activity, but there's been a lot of action in it. Nuts. Oh, here's another one, Alex, right? I still have no idea what they do. No idea what they do. Futu. Chinese broker? Oh, there you go. Missiles. Chinese Robinhood. Missiles in this thing. Missiles. Missiles. Oh, Tiger, they were calling the Chinese. That's a SPAC, right? That's another SPAC. Tiger. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Yeah, nuts. But you see how you can get reeled in by looking at these things to just buying and holding and never selling? You see how easy it is, right? Right? Every sell looks like you look like a moron. Diamond hands. Diamond hands. Diamond hands. Oh God. Yeah, Jemai, the what is it again? The Amazon of Indonesia or Antarctica, whatever it is. Africa. They got a saying for everything, you know? They got a saying for everything. Yeah, space has something going on this week. What a move there, too. What a move. What a move. What a move. Skills. That popped last week. What? Oh. Damn. Damn. WWR. That's where a little more action Friday. That's where a little more action. Another little guy. I traded this when it caught initial activity, WWR, but it has some decent action, this thing. You know, okay action. WWR. Yeah, this is like the SPAC name that everyone's excited about, the China Earth Materials or whatever the hell it is. Rare Earth. MP. So I think this WWR is a similar group. I think. Yeah, that's what I think it is, MJ. I remember somebody telling me. Rare earths. Yeah, and there's a shortage or something going on with China, right? Something to that effect. NVIDIA, you got earnings, right? Still in this consolidation. But, you know, this is normal. This is impressive. I'm not going to lie to you. You had, what a move you had in this thing. And look at this. Like, this thing is consolidating literally at the highs, right? If you look at Zoom, you know, look at like a shop or a teledoc, actually, where, you know, you had these things come in a little bit to breathe, you know? But NVIDIA maybe bust out off earnings. You know, if it's a decent number, it will, because it's been lagging. Yeah, well, now, they're not new. You know what I mean? That's the problem, Stephen. They're not new. NVIDIA, AMD, everybody owns them. All the juice, the big moves, they happen when nobody's involved. Nobody's around. So this is part of the process where this was a crowded trade, and it's working some of that off. Again, they could be traded, but if you're looking for big moves, there's really no telling when these things come out of something like this. TSM. This applies here too. This is, it's a beast. Don't get me wrong, it catches a ton of action, but this is not new, right? Look at the move in this thing. So the risk is you get caught in lengthy consolidation, because this has to come to an end at some point, right? This can't do this forever. The stock will be 6,000 in 2 months. So there's got to be some lengthy consolidation. Sometimes it ends up being just, this. A lot of times, the longer the move, the lengthier the consolidation. But it's totally normal. Totally normal. Yeah, that's why a lot of the names, the popular names, guys, for me, they're trades. That's why I don't brush you guys off with these. It's just, I'm not going to tell you anything new that you don't know about it, right? What do you want me to tell you? TSM. This thing has been tattooed throughout, right? Throughout this whole rally, this thing has been annihilated. You guys know. So what am I going to tell you up here after all that? There's been flow in the name. What do you want me to tell you? Yeah, the egg hatched. Done. Melly. Is that flying? This thing doesn't really catch too much flow. There's one big guy that keeps rolling a monster position. Monster. Wow. Wow. How about this? Okay. Roku. If you remember, MJ, you remember this. Okay. Had that big run and then went into some really nice consolidation here. Remember? And then, caught some real, even now, there's still July torpedoes going off in it. But there's been some real nice sweeps in this thing. But look, look at this move. All right, so that's what I'm saying. Up here, not ideal. Down here, coming out of consolidation, action heats up. Better risk reward, right? And look, this is what, September, all the way to really here. Look at that. That's some lengthy consolidation right there, no? All right, so it had a lot of time to shake crowd out. And if you don't think they got shaken out here, you're nuts. And then once it got hot, look at this. No, we do this for members every Sunday evening. Tuesday, we do this for everybody, but shorter anyway. I'm going to wrap it up now. I could talk stocks till tomorrow kickoff. You know that, but I think we got to call it a day here. All right. So anybody who's new to all this, you could go to wallstreetjesus.com. They opened up some free trials there. You'll see the information on there. Okay, get a feel for what we do, sweeper activity, that sort of thing. All right. The rest of you, thanks for stopping by on a Saturday. Always a pleasure. I really don't have an opinion tonight. I'm probably going to root for Brady because I know a couple of Jet fans and all that don't like him, and I'll make them sick. But I'm not a big foosball guy. I'm a baseball guy. You guys know that. But I know tails, the coin toss. I got some inside information, tails on the coin toss. All right. Same here. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe.